Howdy there, grade one. It's time for writing. Now, last week we introduced a new type of writing called realistic fiction. And realistic fiction is when you write about something that could happen in real life, but it didn't. And I got a lot of great writing, and I'm sure that your other grade one teachers did as well. So, if you're going to be an incredible writer, a writer that people read your story and say, oh my goodness, like how amazing, I have to know how it ends, I can't put this book down. If you want to be that kind of writer, let's take a look at this video that will teach us how to really get our readers to really just wrap them up in our story and they won't want to put it down.
Realistic Fiction Writing for Kids, Episode 3, Writing an Introduction. In the last episode, I started brainstorming some ideas. I thought about the characters, setting, problem, and solution I wanted to include in my story. Now I'm ready to start writing, but I need to begin with an introduction. A good introduction will get the reader interested in reading your story. The introduction should also introduce the main character and the setting. There are many different ways you could start your story, but here are a few of my favorites. 1. Describe the setting, especially if there is something special about when or where your story takes place. 2. A sound, starting with a boom or a bark, will definitely get your reader interested to read more. And 3. Dialogue. You can start your story with a character talking. I'm going to try to use a combination of all three of these ideas for my introduction. So here we go. One winter day, Mary was cuddled up on the couch with her dog, Sam. Swish! Wow, it sounds like a blizzard outside, said Mary. Sam ran to the door and barked to go outside. Okay, said Mary. She put on her heavy coat and Sam's leash, and they walked outside into the snow. Did you see how I introduced the setting? I used a sound and I made my character talk? That makes a good introduction. Now I'm ready to write the rest of my story, including the big problem that happens when Mary takes Sam outside. Uh-oh.
So like that video just taught us, there's a few things that we need to do at the very beginning of our stories to really get someone to pay attention to what we have to say. So today we're going to be writing a series story. A series story? What's that? Well, let me tell you, and let me tell them. A series story is when you use similar characters and similar settings, and the only things that are really going to change in that story would be like your adventures. They may go on different adventures. Some examples of series stories and series books would be these. We have the Pokemon series, we have Curious George, we have Magic Tree House, we even have Junie Jones. All of these are wonderful examples of what a book series is. But Miss Amanda, now that I know what a series is, how am I going to write my own book series? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's take a look at this chart to help us. So this chart is telling us that we need to use the same pretend characters throughout each book. So if I do a book over here, like the Magic Tree House, okay, well the Magic Tree House has Jack and Annie. And then in the next book of Magic Tree House, it also has Jack and Annie. And then the next book it has Jack and Annie. So you're going to want to use the same pretend characters for each book in your book series. Also, you're going to want to end that book to start the next one. So you don't want your story to keep going to each book. You want to find some kind of solution to the problem or answer to the problem for this book, finish it, and then start the next book, including the same characters. You're going to want to include same friends, same pets, same brother and sister in each one of the books so that your reader is like, oh, I know who that dog is. Oh, I know who that person is. They were in the last book. And then you're also going to want to have each one of your books go on a different adventure. Like in Magic Tree House, in one book, they went to the land of the dinosaurs. In the next book, they were pirates. In one book, they are ninjas. And so in each book, they went on a different adventure, but it used the same characters, and they always went back to the same town at the end, and it always included a magic treehouse. But they went on different adventures. So you need to find some things that you're going to keep the same in each one of your books, of your series, but then you can change the adventures in each one. So now that you are an expert on realistic fiction, writing a story that could happen in real life, but it didn't, and you know now what a book series is, we're going to work on that for the next 2 weeks in writing. So this week, you're going to start your book series. So you're going to make book number 1 of your book series. And then next week, you're going to make book number 2 of your book series. So this week, you're picking what characters do you want, what do you want them to be doing, what is the setting, and then next week, you're going to work on book 2, which will use the same characters and the same setting, but it will be a different adventure. All right, good luck, guys. You're going to do an amazing job writing a realistic fiction series story.